Hello, welcome back. My name is Chance Bingen, Principal Technical Marketing Engineer for Virtualization here at NetApp. And today I'm going to talk to you about NVMe over TCP, the hot new protocol that everyone wants to use for their data stores. Why? Because it is just faster than iSCSI, but it's more than faster. It's also less intensive on system resources. I typically use about half the CPU of a legacy SCSI-based protocol like iSCSI. So comparing iSCSI to NVMe TCP, and you would also compare Fiber Channel Protocol or FCP to NVMe over FC. Either one of those would be getting roughly half the storage-related CPU consumption compared to the other, while delivering significantly greater IOPS over the exact same infrastructure. So let's dive into Lab on Demand and see how easy it is to set it up using ONTAP Tools for VMware. So here we are in Lab on Demand. I'm just going to show you real quick some of the things that you have to do NVMe. So we're actually going to go down to the host, configure, and if you haven't already done so, you'll need to add your NVMe over TCP adapter, just like iSCSI. There's a lot of similarities between doing NVMe over TCP and iSCSI, but there are some significant differences. So let's go down here, we'll look at that, and you have to do things like instantiate controllers. So you have to hit add controller, you have to know the port number, the IP address, and then you can discover there's a whole process you have to do to get this to work manually. You don't have to worry about any of this if you're doing ONTAP Tools for VMware. So I'm going to cancel this. And if you haven't seen the previous videos, I definitely encourage you to go back and do that. It'll give you a good idea for what ONTAP Tools is and how it works. So now I'm going to right-click on this cluster. And so what I'm doing by right-clicking on the cluster, it's going to do everything at the cluster level. If I did it at the data store, it'd be operating at the data store level, or I can select an individual host and provision storage just to that host. So I'm going to go to Create Data Store. I'm going to choose VMFS. Next, I'm going to give it a name, NVMe Lab on Demand, and I'm going to call it, say, 128 gigabytes. And then I'm going to say, I want NVMe over TCP. Now, it will only let you choose protocols that you actually are able to use. It won't give you something you can't use, for example. Like in this lab, we don't have Fiber Channel. It's not going to let you pick it. So we'll hit Next. And again, just like the last video, I'm just going to click Next through everything because it's going to select the best practice configuration for me by default. And I don't really want to change those. So I'll hit OK. Now, what it's doing is it's creating the NVMe subsystem in the array and instantiating a controller for that subsystem. It's a bit different than iSCSI from that perspective. But once all that's done, it's going to rescan the software-based initiator, rescan the HBA, if you will, and then it's going to format the namespace. So instead of a LUN like last time, we've got an NVMe namespace. And then it's going to put a file system on it, and it'll be an NVMe-based data store. So let's jump over here. And as soon as it's done with that process, it's going to pop in right here. And there it is. So instead of having to go through all those manual steps of doing things like creating subsystems and defining which NVMe node names will be a part of that subsystem, and doing all that stuff on the array, you don't have to do any of that. You don't even need to know how to be a storage administrator. All you need is your ONTAP tools, and it can configure everything for you. Just like last time, it's going to collect some information about this data store. It's going to hit refresh. Okay, it's done collecting information. And here you can see all the storage attributes. And if we go over to namespace details, if you remember before, we looked at LUN details and details for the NFS export. Here we can see namespace details. Instead of an NAA number, you now have a namespace ID. So it helps you to very easily coordinate which namespace ID goes with which data store if you ever have to go and investigate the logs or anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed that quick demo and why NVMe is important, why you should be adopting it, and why you should be using ONTAP Tools to do it. Don't forget to watch our next video. Be sure and like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss it, and we'll see you in the next one.